We're here at the questions, where I'm going to ask you a series of questions that I ask everybody. And just to clarify, this is kind of interesting. I haven't explained this before. The questions, many of them, like all of them, come from my wife, Tina. And so we're going to relabel this section, Tina's Got to Know. And here are the questions. Here are the questions that Tina's got to know. Okay. So first question is, that's SheauxBiz. What is the most Hollywood moment in your life?
Gosh, man. I don't know if this would qualify. Well, I guess it would qualify as a Hollywood moment, but it's one of the stories in the book where Steven was directing one of the Amazing Stories episodes, and the set was filled up with, the chemical fog that you use to when you're shooting atmospheric stuff. And so we took a break, and Steven was on stage 28 at Universal, which was the Phantom of the Opera stage. But he took a break and went out and was leaning against the wall of a soundstage that was used for special effects demonstrations, which actually had two of his effects, E.T. and 1941. And so I was kind of keeping my distance. I always would keep an eye on him, but in case he needed me, but I didn't want to intrude. And so he was resting his face to the sun, and I watched this lady on the Universal tour, the tram midpoint. She jumped off the tram and she ran up to Steven with her camera and raised her camera, and Steven kind of opened one eye and saw her, and so he smiled. Uh-huh. And she didn't take the picture. And finally, she got a little bit rude and said, "Excuse me, would you step aside, please?" And Steven said, "Well, sure." And he stepped aside, and she took a picture of an E.T. poster and ran and got back on the tram. And the tram took off. And he looked at me and shrugged his shoulders, and I shrugged mine, and we went back to work.
It's the Patrick Labyorteaux Show. Patrick Labyorteaux. He's the one you gotta know.